YouTube is actively making its user experience worse and punishing creators who don't comply. Force placing ads, pay to win, and demanding creators cater their content to the advertisers instead of the viewers are all things that are happening right now. And YouTube's announced even worse changes coming over the next few months. What used to be the site for broadcasting yourself is looking more and more like the site for broadcasting whoever pays the most. I've been making YouTube content for less than 2 years, and even in that time, the whiplash of changes we've seen is snapping my neck. Content creators once got to choose if they did or didn't want to show unskippable ads at the beginning of a video. Poof. Not anymore.
What the hell am I looking at?
And before we go any further, yes, this video will have ads.
Traitor!
We might be the ones playing this game, but YouTube wrote the rules of it. And before I get flattened by the hypocrisy train, let me make this clear. Today, I'm not making the case that YouTube's monetization issues are the existence of ads. Ads are why we get to use the site for free, after all. It's YouTube's progressively worse handling of them and other monetization methods. So how's this site I've been watching since people thought Fred was funny turning into a monetization hellscape? Let's get into it. For context, let's look at YouTube's rapidly expanding revenue streams and why they have them set up this way. Aside from ads, there's memberships where you can support a channel on a monthly basis in exchange for perks chosen by the creator, super chats where your message stands out in a live stream, super thanks where your comment can stand out under a video, and gifts. Gotta compete with TikTok, add gifts to live streams, so maybe Jack Doherty will come over here to e-beg the next time he reaps the consequences of his broken childhood. Was that too harsh?
Stop! You're hurting her!
No, it wasn't. And you know, none of the revenue streams I've mentioned so far do I have a problem with yet. They're all optional for the viewer and they don't impact a video's reach in the algorithm. Yet. This will come up again later in the video. Feel free to check my bias because, again, I upload videos here, but with ad revenue being so inconsistent, I think it makes sense why content creators are glad to have these options activated on their channels, and viewers are glad to have means to financially support their favorite creators without having to do so to keep enjoying the content. Channel monetization used to require 1,000 subscribers, now it's just 500. No ads yet, but you can still get supers and memberships. YouTube needed to compete with Twitch with smaller streamers after all. Now, keeping these revenue streams and the lowering of the minimum sub count in mind, you might have also noticed when you're scrolling on your homepage, you're likely to come across a few videos with sometimes hundreds, sometimes tens of views from a creator you've never heard of. Why is this? YouTube usually just throws the biggest, most profitable, most algorithm-pleasing channels at us, even if we've never watched them before. And they absolutely still do that. It's still very hard to be a small channel, but what could have happened recently to make YouTube think about promoting us little guys more than they used to?
So I'm taking a break for some time. I don't know when or if I come back.
On March 9th, I will be hosting my last Theory episode.
We're gonna list these 10 permanently banned channels, from smallest to largest, explaining what they did.
Welcome to Rumble.
Recent heartbreaks of beloved creators retiring, large creators getting into scandals where it's pretty obvious YouTube really doesn't want to punish them because, you know, their videos make money.
Want to show each other? Sure.
Yeah!
And the overall feeling of burnout in some long-running channels hasn't just been noticed by viewers, it's been noticed by YouTube. Imagine you're the landlord of the property at 123 YouTube Avenue. Now, picture this property brings in $4,000 of rent income every month, and you've just learned your tenant is moving out. If this is a single-family home, that's a problem. Your tenant that's moving out is your only tenant, and now you've got to find someone else to replace them to keep your bills paid and revenue flowing. But what if 123 YouTube Avenue wasn't a single-family home anymore? What if it had, say, 4 apartments that pay $1,000 each? Now losing a tenant doesn't seem so bad. You've still got 3 others making you money. This is how I see what YouTube is doing. By promoting smaller channels more, and these small channels having more means of income other than just ads, even YouTube doesn't have to solely rely on its own algorithm to spread out monetization. This shift in strategy means less reliance on the Moist Criticals, the Asmongold's, the Sniper Wolves, the Mr. Beasts, and more reliance on the other 113 million active YouTube channels out there. Sure, losing one creator doesn't mean their entire audience will never watch YouTube again, but I guarantee you there's plenty of people who don't avidly scroll through YouTube every day. They just watch the content creators they already know they like. Losing one big fish might cost you a meal, but losing one of several small fish will still keep your net full. And boy, do we have a lot of those fish coming to this site. SpongeBob just doesn't run out of memes, man. In a 2019 global survey, 30% of subjects ages 8 to 12 years old listed YouTuber as their dream career. Now, I'm no 8 to 12-year-old that you know of, and this is far from a career for me right now, but I'm still part of this new wave of YouTubers. It's funny, I made fun of my nephew when he first told me he wanted to be a YouTube streamer when he grew up. YouTube recognizes that there are more creators now than ever who want a slice of the pie, and with over 500 hours of new content uploaded every minute, I'm sure they can see this happening in real time. And hey, I say come on if you're interested, more channels out there means more content variety for us. With YouTube trying to motivate small creators to keep at it, maybe more people will keep at it, and maybe someday there won't be any mega content creators as we know them now. I don't know. But this video is not about YouTube feeding fish and bread to the masses out of the kindness of its heart. Helping the little guys and making some extra money for YouTube smells like a win-win scenario to me. And it is, if you ignore the big picture of what YouTube is actually trying to do to its audience. How's this making it a hellscape? I'll tell you. More early financial incentive means more channels grinding to unlock the ad revenue. More channels with ad revenue means hopefully more viewers seeing ads, getting sick of them, and moving to YouTube Premium.
Get YouTube Premium. All YouTube, no interruptions.
Where on a per user basis, YouTube stands to make much more money. Take my channel for example. It tells me that advertisers pay $8.96 per 1,000 views. I don't make that.
Yeah, I was gonna cut you in.
Oh, you were gonna cut me in?
I usually make about $3 for every 1,000 views on a good month, but that's what YouTube says the advertisers are paying. By that metric, it would take one person watching just under 1,000 long-form videos a month for YouTube to make as much money off of that single user as they would if that user were instead paying for Premium Lite. Just there's money coming out of your pocket instead of just the advertisers. Some of you might actually be on here that much, I don't know. The Baby Shark numbers don't lie. And did I say Premium Lite? What's that, you might be asking? Well, after YouTube successfully created the problem of overloading us with ads, including sometimes showing ads for videos that aren't even monetized, YouTube then successfully sold the solution to this problem they created with YouTube Premium. Maybe you didn't want to breach terms of service with an ad blocker, but you still wanted to tone down the ads, so maybe you subscribed. And what is your reward, oh loyal patron? A price hike. Maybe even more than 40% of a price hike depending on your region and your plan. No worries guys, you want to pay less like you did before? Just downgrade to our new plan Premium Lite, where your subscription will give you that classic YouTube Premium feel with limited ads. I see what you did there, YouTube. You got people to basically pay what they did before, but now you get to double dip with their money and ad revenue. Mwah, chef's kiss. Hats off to you sly dogs. It's that shrinkflation. Now, as for that comment about them showing ads on videos that aren't even monetized, yes, this is true. I witnessed this firsthand on my second channel before we hit 1,000 subs. Not all the time, but sometimes. All of the cons of making your audience watch ads, but none of the pros of getting paid for it, I guess. By evening the playing field for creators and pushing for revenue to come from subscriptions per user over ads per view, YouTube is propping themselves up to make sure they will never have to worry about any single content creator being too big to control or too big to lose ever again. Meaning, YouTube could even say slip to the lowest pits of pay-to-win hell, and even if a couple of creators get mad and leave, they'll be okay. I promised you we'd come back to pay-to-win YouTube at a later time. That time is now. Have you guys ever heard of YouTube's hype system? I imagine a lot of you haven't. It's only been rolled out in a few regions as of the timing of this video. Well, have I got a video for you?
And today we're talking about hype, specifically a myth we've heard that the feature will be pay to play.
That title, plus that dislike ratio, ought to tell you everything you need to know. But I'll explain anyway. Hype allows users to spend these sort of tokens to boost videos.
Top hype videos show up on a new leaderboard designed for up-and-coming creators.
But only if the creator has under 500,000 subs and their video is less than a week old. Are you worried people will spam hype? Nah, everyone's hype has a weekly cap. Unless, if you've seen any of my channel prior to this video, you already know where this is going.
We're currently testing the option to pay to have hype videos in some locales, viewers who use this option can give even more points to a single video, giving it a better chance to make it onto the leaderboard.
That's right, unless you pay for more hype tokens to give.
A myth we've heard.
Paid hype will still have a cap, but payers will have more tokens to disperse than non-payers. Unlike super chats or memberships, which support a creator financially without impacting their visibility, hype explicitly sells influence. It's YouTube's first real step into pay-to-win territory, and what a busted, greedy iceberg this will be if we ever get past the tip of it. But as most of you kings watching this right now, we already know people will defend this too. And that's okay. They just can't be shocked when bot accounts and more well-off creators beat this system into submission and get put in front of more viewers regardless of the quality of their content. Speaking of which, YouTube says hype tokens will only get videos ahead on hype leaderboards for now, not the algorithm at large, but this is still a leaderboard people will see, and the videos that get more hype tokens will be seen more, so that in and of itself is boosting outreach. And never mind. Listen to what I found while I was editing.
How does hyping benefit me beyond the leaderboard? When your video is hyped, YouTube may feature it on the home feed with a special hyped badge, letting everyone know that it's a viewer favorite. Think of hype as a way to amplify your fans' voices and increase your visibility on YouTube. A myth we've heard that the feature will be pay to play.
Imagine if your homepage were sorted by channels with most members to channels with least members. Would you like that? Would you like people's money being how YouTube chooses what and what not to show you? Not your recent watch histories, your search history, not your interests. This would compromise arguably the biggest part of YouTube's appeal to viewers, full stop. If hype ends up taking off, YouTube might as well change its slogan to broadcast what rich people want you to see. Sorry about that. Gizmo, did that scare you? I'm sorry, boy. He was taking a good nap, too. Speaking of prioritizing monetization over video quality, YouTube has been hit with a new wave of backlash recently. So far, it's mainly been creators who can see the writing on the wall, but don't worry, viewers are going to feel the effects of YouTube's newest changes very soon. In the name of improving the user experience, in May of 2025, YouTube is scheduled to roll out a new way to combat interruptive ads. You know, interruptive ads, the kinds that pop up at a time when it doesn't really make sense. Want to be sold to constantly, but tired of that pesky content getting in the way? Join YouTube Ultra for ads and full-length sponsored videos only. Now, on paper, I don't have any paper in here. On paper, this sounds great. No more poorly timed interruptions in the middle of content anymore, right?
Yes.
But in reality, it's one small step for user satisfaction and one giant leap for stifling creative control of the content that we watch. Several creators who already have this feature rolled out to them will tell you it's retroactively going back and marking several ads on several videos that aren't interruptive at all as interruptive. And interruptive ads means the creator may see less revenue. As you can expect, the reception to a flawed ad placer system deciding what's interruptive and what isn't has been overwhelmingly negative. I've seen a lot of displeasure at having to go back through years worth of upload history to change ad placement, but more importantly, displeasure at the complete lack of trust that automation will actually make the viewer experience better.
Hold it!
At this point, you might be asking, but if YouTube is sometimes removing ads, doesn't that make the site less monetized? To which the answer is, we've got to remember what YouTube's goal with this is. The goal is not to lessen the load of ads on the site. It's to compel creators to structure their content around YouTube's preferences for advertising under threat of reducing revenue. This goal is more clear when you realize that in a lot of cases, YouTube's auto placement feature, ads, way more ads than most content creators would have ever actually placed themselves. When someone makes a video for YouTube, they're already catering its style and pacing to what they think their audience will like. For example, cut commentary videos or gameplay videos usually try their best to keep the viewer engaged from start to finish, keeping pauses and silences to a minimum so people don't get bored. YouTube's not going to like that, so it'll have to pick a minuscule pause it finds somewhere in the audio timeline, or just not place any ads at all.
And YouTube pops up and says we couldn't find any natural breakpoints in the video. Therefore, YouTube is not going to put any ads in this video. Well, what about my next video? No ads. What about my next video? No ads. What about my next video? No ads. What about my next video? no ads.
It's financial discrimination based on content niche. It's that nicheism. Meanwhile, scripted videos like the one you're watching right now usually chooses where to place ads based on flows of thought or cliffhangers to try and keep the ad breaks as natural as possible and keep the viewer intrigued enough to stay through the ad break.
Oh my God.
We don't go,
it probably is one of the coolest things anybody can ever do
Get YouTube Premium.
to keep any video game alive.
YouTube's new system doesn't care what kind of pacing the creator thinks is best or that the audience prefers. No. It demands the content be made in a way to make room for monetization before it's ever even uploaded.
I smell money!
YouTube's saying loud and clear, they think their automated system can choose ad breaks better than a human content creator can. The system that thinks it's acceptable to place ads every 3 minutes in a live stream. The system that shows ads in places the creator didn't even want ads to go. Seriously, pause this video for a bit, come back, hit play, and I guarantee you in the first couple of seconds YouTube will play you an ad. And I didn't put it there. Yeah, do what he says. You don't want to miss out on money, do you? Now I've screamed, cried, and pissed my pants. Now I've screamed, cried, and pissed my pants from a creator's point of view, but what about the audience? What does this matter to you? Well, here's the simple answer. YouTube is showing that they are happy to limit creative control of the content you consume if they think it will earn them more money. Think of this like the pay-to-win debate in video games. Somebody will drop some kind of microtransaction for faster leveling or in-game items. One side will say it's no big deal, it's not that big of a difference, while the other side, the correct one, has their own line in the sand that says extra purchases should never impact gameplay, no matter how small the change or shortcut that it gives. Because whenever you give an inch, they're always going to look for the next inch they can take. It's kind of like that here, but instead of video games and impacting gameplay with monetization, it's YouTube and impacting content with monetization. Yes, there's a terms of service against things like explicit content, but this new ad system goes beyond the realm of trying to make things age appropriate. YouTube's turned into the pacing police.
I'm just a cousin! I'm just a kid!
Now, does an arbitrary occasional pause ruin an entire video? No, not necessarily, but mark my words, this is step one to taking away manual ad placement entirely.
Consider them marked.
YouTube is not good enough at placing ads, and they do not prioritize you as a viewer enough to have this responsibility. And if you think it'll stop at ad breaks, just wait. Remember when YouTube changed their TOS to say that any videos that have cursing in the first 15 seconds won't be eligible for ads, and applied this retroactively to videos that had been uploaded for years? They ended up loosening these restrictions a few months later when they realized just how many videos they were losing money on, but they still tried it. Insisting on auto ad placement is kind of like that, but taking it a step further. That was when YouTube wanted to cater intros to advertisers. This is when they want to cater the pacing of an entire video to advertisers. And shocker, I know, but advertisers don't always want what you want. You want to rewatch a how to tie your tie video for the 100th time on your way out the door to that next job interview. They want to sell you, I don't know, a fushigi or something. Those things are such a scam.
The ball does not float on its own. There's no tell marks to be able to see how the sphere is moving.
I've been saying for years that if YouTube could treat creators like mindless content farms or get rid of them entirely, they'd do it in a heartbeat. Remember when they tried and failed with YouTube originals because turns out people aren't interested in YouTube being just another Netflix or Prime Video? Cobra Kai started out as a YouTube show till Netflix picked it up 2 seasons in. Isn't that crazy to think about? But with YouTube having since dropped the original content initiative, the next best thing it can do is be a backseat driver to other people's content. YouTube is supposed to be a place for viewers to find unfiltered takes, advice, how-tos, independent artistic endeavors, and a lot more that may not otherwise be available to them. Aren't you already tired of seeing creators who once posted about things that they wanted to post about, now posting about the same topics as everyone else because they feel like to grow they have to do this to appease the algorithm? Aren't you sick of seeing thousands of dollars of marketing money being pumped into full-length sponsored videos, all in the name of determining what products you should get exposed to rather than what should entertain you? Wouldn't it be a twist twist of the knife to see that even the variety content that isn't even looking for virality is now puppeteered by YouTube's monetization priorities? Broadcast yourself is dead. We're now in the era of broadcast the marketing budgets. Pay-to-win practices and ads dictating the structure of content is a fundamental shift in the way that YouTube has operated. Creators don't want to see this, viewers don't want to see this, nobody wants to see this. Except YouTube. So let them know. It seems to take videos like this picking up steam for YouTube to even pretend to care about the viewer experience. Hopefully, with the negative feedback they've already gotten, YouTube will reverse these things or at least scale them back. But we already know the language they speak, don't we? Money! So, the next time you see a content creator that you enjoy working their tail off to entertain or inform you, just remember, buy more hype tokens. I'm just kidding. Support your favorite content creators before YouTube decides who you should watch for you. It doesn't have to be financial support, even just a like or a positive comment on a video or a share. It's stuff like that that gives videos the success they need to rise above the noise and give the creator the drive to keep sitting back down at the editing desk, excited to deliver you another video. Remind YouTube, it's not the advertisers that got them to where they are today. It's you, the viewer. If you want to see another non-video game centric video of mine, click this one here. It's about the dark side of digital media. And speaking of support, thank you to the patrons, the channel members, the viewers, the Discord members, every one of you that's ever sent support my way since I started this thing. As always, thanks for watching. Carry on, you kings.